Hey guys, what's up? It is the one and only RJ21 here, and today I'm going to be recapping the events of week 12 and the second double eviction of Big Brother 25 and giving my updated power rankings. Week 12 starts off with Jag winning HOH, becoming the first house guest in Big Brother history to win back-to-back HOHs and serve both of them without being dethroned. It's kind of BS that he was able to win this competition, because if he wasn't able to compete, then either Suri or America would have won, and I would have much rather preferred that as opposed to a second Jag HOH in a row. But that's besides the point. Initially, Jag wants to target America because America's on the outs. America is very openly targeting Matt and Jag, and she has no allies, so it's very easy for her to get targeted. However, Jag decides to shift the target from America to Blue because Blue is a comp beast, because she won one veto and did well in a couple other ones. Whoop-de-doo. But at the nomination ceremony, Jag nominates Blue and America, with Blue as the target. The three of them, along with Bowie Jane, Felicia, and Matt, are all selected to compete in the veto, meaning Suri was never picked to participate in a veto competition. The only vetoes she has ever participated in were the ones where she was forced to compete. She was forced to compete in the veto during week 10 because she was nominated. She was forced to compete in both vetoes week 11 because everybody competed in those. But besides those instances, she's never been picked to play in a veto, which is an insane statistic to have, and I'm pretty sure that's got to be a record of some sort. But anyways, the 6 veto players end up playing in the Embarrassing Expedition veto, which is basically the one where we have to arrange the photos and to create a cohesive story, and Jag ends up winning that, winning 4 competitions in 2 weeks. That's the record. The record should be 3 because it's impossible to win 4 competitions in 2 weeks, but somehow he did it. So whoop-de-doo. Jag decides to not use the veto, keep American Blue on the block, with Blue being the target. Suri did initially propose a plan to split the vote, with 2 votes on America and 2 votes on Blue, to force Jag to split or break the tie and send Blue out of the house himself. However, Felicia leaks this plan to Jag and tries blowing up Suri's position, but Suri is able to recover and do effective damage control, and that plan is ultimately scrapped. So come eviction night, Blue is evicted by a unanimous vote of 4-0. Yet another unanimous eviction. But the week doesn't stop there, because it's double eviction night. The HOH comp was a mental comp. It was one of those memory comps, and Bowie Jane ends up winning it in another tiebreaker, which is honestly insane to me. Now, I thought Bowie Jane was going to make a move. I thought she was going to put up Matt and Jag. However, she decides to make the safest move ever and nominates America and Felicia, with America being the target. With everybody competing in the power of veto competition, it was the big top drop competition where you have to drop the balls into the tube, and Matt ends up winning that, winning his second power veto of the season. Obviously, with Matt wanting to target America, Matt keeps nominations the same, and come the vote, America is unanimously evicted by a vote of 3-0. Ultimately ending double eviction with one of the most boring results. Like, it's crazy how we had one of the most satisfying double evictions and one of the worst double evictions both in the same season. The house dynamics have stayed exactly the same, except now it's just more control to Matt and Jag. It's Matt, Jag, Bowie Jane as the power trio. Suri and Felicia are on the outs, and because Suri and Felicia can't win comps, the 3 of them are just running this game, and they're being pretty cocky about it, which I really don't like. I really hate when Big Brother players get cocky, and they're not even in a power position because they're playing the game well. They're just there because they keep winning comps, and I hate it. I hate how cocky they're getting. I just hate how cocky they're getting. But as it stands right now with the house dynamics, it's still Matt and Jag and Bowie Jane running things, with Suri and Felicia on the outs, and there's very little opportunity for that to shake up unless a comp result goes against them, but let's be honest, that's probably not going to happen. Just a quick disclaimer, this video is being filmed after the HOH competition and the nomination ceremony, so I do know who the new HOH is and who they nominated, and that information will be impacting my power rankings. But with all of that in mind, let's actually get into the power rankings. At number 7, the first victim of the double eviction, we have Blue. And I think I can appreciate Blue a lot more now that she's actually out of the house and she's had some time to reflect on everything. I think I've been very clear that I've been very anti-Blue in that I really, really disliked her DR persona. I really thought I just got so sick of it so much. And the overconfidence and cockiness she had throughout the game really, really rubbed me the wrong way. But now that she's actually out of the house, I think I'm able to look at her overall arc and run on this season in a much more positive light. I think it's a more ironic funny, something like a Jasmine from Big Brother 24. I think that's very similar in that they've both had very over-the-top DR personalities and weren't that good at the game, but I think in retrospect, it's actually kind of funny. Now, in terms of her gameplay, she sucked. I don't know what to say. She sucked. Her game definitely wasn't the worst of the season. She was able to ingratiate herself into majority alliances throughout parts of the season. However, her as a player is just bad. She's bad. Like, it's one thing to get snowed by your closest allies, right? Like, you can be blindly loyal to your allies, right? It happens. It even happened this season during week 3 when Felicia backdoored Heisem, and Heisem thought that he was tight with all of the professors, right? Like, it's not a new thing to get snowed by your closest allies. The issue with Blue was how snow she was. She was put up by Jag during his invisible HOH and then got put up by Jag again during his next HOH. So that must have been a clear sign to Blue that, hey, maybe they don't have her best interest in mind and maybe she should consider either turning against them or try working with different people. But instead, she just stayed loyal and consistent with them and said, no matter what, I'm sticking with y'all. And I think that's just what her downfall was. She was blindly loyal when all of the clues were in front of her. All of the signs were there for her to go find new allies and try and flip the game. But she just chose not to. Like, it's just really, really, really bad gameplay on Blue's end. She's definitely not a good player. I'll say that. She's definitely able to self-sabotage herself so much. But overall, I think Blue was a somewhat enjoyable persona. Her exit interviews have definitely shown that she is at least somewhat self-aware. I say somewhat because, God, I was not expecting Blue to give Raven from Big Brother 19 energy in this exit press of how delusional she is. Like, she is Delulu. She's not even delusional. She is Delulu with how much she thinks that, like, she's like this queen that, like, she like ran stuff and that she was like the best showmance in like the history of showmances. Like, what? Like, I just don't see it. I really don't see it. It's funny how delusional she is. It's really funny. And when she gets out of the house and sees how much she's getting dunked on by a portion of the community, it's going to be funny to see, but it's so ironic. But in terms of like her exit press, she has expressed that, like, you know, she regrets not working with America. She regrets not targeting Matt and Jag earlier. Like, she is showing some signs of self-awareness and that the mistakes that she made did impact her game. And that is at least a somewhat positive sign. But overall, her run on this season was pretty lackluster. It was like ironically entertaining, but her gameplay was just so bad, and that's why she's ending up here at number 7. At number 6, the second victim of the double eviction, we have America. And it's really upsetting that America's going like this early. I think America definitely had a lot of fight in her. She definitely showed that she was a super fan and she was trying her hardest to try and fight and stay in the house. And it's just really upsetting to see her go here because you could tell when she got evicted how badly she wanted this. She wanted to stay in the game for so long and try and fight and to try and just make waves, but she just wasn't able to do so. And it's just really, really unfortunate. She was a super fan who had big dreams and big aspirations, but she was just unfortunately unable to live up to them. And that's really disappointing to see because I think America, as the season progressed, she got more and more entertaining. I think she was really real in the diary room. She was probably one of the only house guests to show like a full range of emotions in the DR. She showed it like when she was crying. She showed when she was sad, when she was angry, when she was happy, excited. Like, she showed everything in the DR, and I think that genuineness is what has been missing from a lot of DRs in the past with like a lot of people. And I think America has shown that positive aspect. Unfortunately, her run just got cut short here during the double eviction, and I'm really sad to see her go. she wasn't the best game player. She really wasn't. She talked way too much and she tanked a lot of people's games and tanked her position especially. But, I mean, what could she have really done at this point? She needed to win the veto to stay in the house. She didn't, and she went home. There was really no chance of her like ever staying, at least in these circumstances. And I think America's run just ends out like on a whimper. Like, maybe not a whimper, but like it was really sad to see her like go from like this really energetic, really passionate player and then to just like fizzle out when she knew that her dreams and chances of winning this game were slowly and slowly and slowly like diminishing to the point where she's basically has zero chance of winning the game. And it's just really upsetting to see her like fizzle out like that. I definitely would not be opposed to seeing America on another season. Maybe not as soon as Big Brother 26, but I would not be opposed to seeing America on our TV screens again. She's obviously a huge fan that wants to continue playing this game, and I really respect her for that, especially with how the season went out. I also really respect how she called out Big Brother production and the competition design team in saying that, oh, these big alpha guys just keep winning everything and you need to be so athletic to win these competitions. I really appreciate how she was able to call that out because that is a sentiment the Big Brother community has been sharing for a very long time, and it's finally being aired out on national television for everybody to hear that unless you're like a super duper athletic guy or just super duper athletic in general, you're not gonna win these endgame comps that you need to, showing like the unequitability of these endgame comps and just how overall unfair they are. And I'm really glad she called that out, and I think that's just a sign to how much of a fan she is and how much she cares about this game. Because if she didn't care, she would have just like, if she didn't care, she would have said, I lost, but it's okay. But the fact that she's calling out what's wrong with modern Big Brother and trying to recommend or at least call out these problems to try and fix them in the future is really nice. But unfortunately, she was taken out and she's no longer in the game, which is why she has to stay here at number 6. Now we can talk about players that are actually still in the game. At number 5, the person I believe to be in the worst position in the house is Felicia. And I think it's pretty obvious. Felicia's nominated this week. She is the target, but there is a high possibility that she actually doesn't go home this week. However, in terms of positioning, she has nothing. She has Suri, and that's it. But even then, that connection doesn't matter because she's on the block next to her. So as it stands right now, Felicia's literally, she's dead in the water. Unless she somehow comps out, she's not getting to final 3. She's not getting to, and she would need to comp out in order to get to final 2. So as it stands right now, Felicia's in a horrible position. I really, even considering like win equity and things like that, she has very low win equity. I don't think she wins sitting next to anybody. I think she actually is a jury goat. I don't think sitting next to Jag she loses, sitting next to Matt she loses, sitting next to Suri she definitely loses, even sitting next to Bowie Jane, somebody who people thought that Felicia could easily beat, but now that Bowie Jane is like winning competitions, Bowie Jane has more win equity than Felicia. So at the end of the day, Felicia's just in a horrible position and she has zero chance of winning this game. The only way that Felicia's going to be able to increase her win equity is if she wins these endgame comps. And I just don't know if she's going to be able to do that. With the makeout of these endgame comps, I don't know if this next HOH is going to be mental or not. I really don't know. But Felicia's going to need them. Not like possibly need. No, she needs them in order to have even a chance at winning. Not even like to guarantee her win. She just needs to win to gain a chance at winning. And that's a really bad position to be in, and it's really unfortunate that she's in this position in the first place because she's been playing this game so hard throughout the entire season. And it's just really disappointing to see her game just end up just depending on competitions. I'm really upset by that, and I really hope that Felicia is going to be able to improve that. But as it stands right now, she has zero chance. Literally zero chance of staying, zero chance of winning, and I'm really disappointed by that. I hope that Felicia can at least, like, if she is leaving this week, I hope she can leave in an explosive way, blowing up Matt and Jag's game, something like that, because she's willing to do that. She's willing to call people out, and I hope she does that on her way out, because that would be so iconic and so entertaining, and I would love to see that play out on national television. live national television, might I add. But as it stands right now, Felicia's got zero chance of winning. She has very few allies, and she has zero chance of getting to the end game unless she wins. And that's all really, really bad for her, which is why I have to keep her here at number 5. At number 4, I have Cirie. And Cirie is in the same position as Felicia, except Cirie has a bond with Matt. That's literally it. That's literally the only reason why Cirie is above Felicia. Cirie is in the exact same position as Felicia, right? They're on the bottom, they're on the outs, and one of them is most likely going home. The only issue is that Matt actually has a bond with Cirie, so at least Cirie has at least one person fighting for her to stay in the house. Matt has expressed in the past that he was willing to take Cirie to the end, final 3, possibly even final 2, but with his actions this week, it's very clear that Matt isn't staying true to that, and he's going to stay true to Jag and Bowie Jane. I don't think that's honestly best for him, but what are you going to do? I think Cirie she has no more runway. She really needs to win a competition like Felicia. The thing with Cirie is that she has win equity. I think if she sits next to anybody in the final 2, she has a very good chance of winning. She definitely beats Bowie Jane. She definitely beats Felicia. And it's a bit of a toss-up if she beats Matt or Jag, but both of them have made the jury very bitter. So I think in that regards, I think Cirie would easily win a jury vote against any of these people, right? But Cirie just has such a low chance of reaching that. She's going to need to survive this week, but Bowie Jane and Jag have expressed that if noms stay the same, they would want to vote out Cirie, despite Matt's wishes, because Cirie is just that big of a threat. So there is a high likelihood that Cirie is the one who's going to go home this week, and that's not good. Obviously, you don't want her to go home. I don't want her to go home. I want Cirie to stay in this, and I want her to win. But it's just she can't win comps. She needs to win this next upcoming veto to even stay or even have a chance at winning. She needs this. But if she can't win it, then she's going home, or she's probably going home. And that just really, really sucks. The fact that Cirie, just like Felicia, has to depend on competitions to even have a chance of staying. That sucks. That really, really sucks. And that's so unfortunate. I really hope I do think Cirie does have a chance of staying. I do think Cirie is going to be able to at least find a path for her to stay. I think she could definitely influence the likes of a Bowie Jane or Jag to vote to keep her, and then Matt breaks the tie and keeps Cirie, because obviously, Cirie definitely does have a path to stay and a path to get to the end. It's just going to be very rocky, very tumultuous, very concerning, and it's just her path to the end is very, very up in the air. It's really just going to depend on who wins comps. And the fact that this end game is breaking down like this is really depressing, because nobody wants to just depend on people to win carnival games to see who's going to win the season. That's just boring. No one wants to see that. Cirie's been a very dynamic player. Cirie's been a very adaptable player. She's probably the best player this season. And if she goes home this week, that's going to be really disappointing. But I do think she has a chance to stay, which is why I have her here at number 4. At number 3, I have Bowie Jane. She's no longer the one and only Bowie Jane. She's not effing Bowie Jane. She's just Bowie Jane. And she single-handedly ruined the season. I will say that now. I'll say that for a pretty long time, Bowie Jane ruined Big Brother 25. She had the best opportunity to take out one of the biggest competition threats of the season, and she chose to take out America. You have 2 people in this house. Jag has 7 competition wins, 5 vetoes, 2 HOHs, and Matt, somebody with 1 HOH and 1 veto, and a very high likelihood of winning future competitions. You have the opportunity to split that duo up, and you choose to go after America and Felicia, who have a combined 1 competition win, and the 1 competition she won was a crapshoot. It's what are you doing? She's actively playing for 3rd place, and I hate that. I hate that. I hate that people are still in this game and not playing for themselves to win. I hate that. She's not playing to win. She's playing to get 3rd. And she said, "Oh, if I make it to top 3, that's essentially winning. As long as I make it with you 2." Why? Why are we still casting people who don't want to win? Why are we still casting people who don't want to win? She's clearly not here to win. She's clearly just here to stay in the game and stay with Matt and Jag for some reason. Like, it's so questionable. The fact that she had one of the best HOHs and one of the worst HOHs of the entire season. She had the most entertaining HOH. The fact that she was the one to backdoor Cameron. It was Bowie Jane, right? And then, like, she has this opportunity to take out another huge competition threat, yet she chooses to go after America. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, I'm not even, like, talking about her game, her position right now, because it's exactly the same. She's just riding Matt and Jag to the end and waiting to get picked off in third place. That's it. That's all Bowie Jane has. That's all that she's riding on. If she wants to win this game, she has to sit next to Felicia. But Felicia's probably going to go home either this week or the next round. So it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Bowie Jane is like the epitome of like what I don't like in like Big Brother. Like, okay, she's not a recruit, but like this is like the epitome of like what I hate in Big Brother recruits. I know Bowie Jane probably isn't a recruit because she is a pretty big fan of Big Brother Australia, but it's very clear she doesn't know how to play the game. It's very clear that she's not here to even play the game to win. She's just here to play with the people she's loyal with, and she's fine with getting third. I would never be fine wasting 100 days of my life just to get third place. Like, how is that? How is she okay with that? I'm genuinely flabbergasted by that. I really don't know. I'm just super frustrated with Bowie Jane. In terms of her position in the house, she's riding Matt and Jag. They're going to take her out in third. She's probably like loyal to them. She's going to stay loyal to them, and she's willingly like okay with getting third with them. And that's just a sign of like of Bowie Jane in general. I'm just so disappointed by her. And because she's by default in a good position, I'm going to have to keep her here at number 3. At number 2, I have Jag. And from a competitive standpoint, Jag is running things. 5 vetoes, 2 HOHs. Like, he is running things competition-wise. And because he keeps winning all of these comps, he's gaining all of this win equity. But he's not gaining this win equity because he's playing well. He's just gaining it because he keeps winning comps. He's like Jackson Mickey from Big Brother 21, where people are only respecting him because he keeps putting himself in a power position by winning competitions. Obviously, he's not as unlikable as Jackson Mickey, but they're essentially playing... I don't know if I want to go as far as to say that they're essentially playing the same game or very similar games, but the parallels can be tied in that they're both very dependent on winning competitions. Despite Jag winning all of these competitions, I still don't think he beats Matt in a final 2. As ironic as that sounds, like, I really don't think Jag beats Matt in a final 2. Based on people's exit press, they really don't like Jag. Like, they really don't like Jag. And like I think that's on a personal level. In terms of like the game, they at least respect Matt because he has actively been playing the game well. But with Jag, he's had to be so dependent on these competitions. They're not really respecting his trajectory or his arc on this season so far. And if Bowie Jane had literally like any more brain capacity than just like staying loyal to them, Bowie Jane would have easily put Matt and Jag up, and Jag was nowhere close to winning that HOA or that veto comp. So Jag would have gone home in the double, and that would have been best case scenario. But Jag got saved because Bowie Jane is blindly loyal. And I think maybe that's a testament to how good of a game player Jag might be because of his ability to get people to just stay blindly loyal to him. Like, I think it's crazy that people like Corey and America and Blue like wanted to keep Jag around because he was perceived as that loyal of an ally. And I guess to a certain extent, I do have to respect that. But I just don't respect how many competitions he's winning. I really don't. The fact that his power in this game is derived from competitions is not a good sign that he's a good player. He's a good competitor, but he's not a good player. In terms of his positioning in the game, he actually has a pretty solid like end game lined up for himself. He has to an extent been contemplating about taking Matt out and not taking him to the final 2. He has created a final 2 with Bowie Jane. So if Bowie Jane were to win HOH, she would take Jag to the end, and then Jag would beat her unanimously. But I still don't think Jag's in a better position than Matt, who is obviously the person at number 1 by default. But still, like Jag, I think what's putting Jag this low is his very low win equity and how little he is respected by the jury and by his fellow house guests. It's very clear that they don't respect his game that much, and I also don't respect it, but I don't think the jury respects his game enough to want to actively vote for him in the end as the winner, and that's honestly hurting his position. But with all of that in mind, that is why I have to keep Jag here at number 2. At number 1, the person who I believe to be in the best position in the house is Matt. And it's still Matt. Matt is in a great position. I don't think I've seen a man socially dominate this game as well as Matt has, at least in Big Brother US. If we're talking BB Can, Kevin Jacobs is obviously the king of that. He's our social and strategic king, obviously. But in terms of Big Brother US, I don't think there's been a player to like socially dominate the house since like I think Enzo on Big Brother 22, if I'm getting my facts correct. But Matt has been playing an amazing social game. Matt has been able to gain a lot of win equity because of the bonds he's built with people. While people don't like how Matt and Jag are running this game and how the two of them are just dominating everything, Matt is at least respected. Like, people can respect that Matt was actively playing the game, he was playing it well, and he hasn't had to depend on competitions to gain power. Mind you, Matt has had to gain power in the sense that he's had to depend on his allies to win competitions, to take out the players that are best for his game, but I think that's still a testament to how good his social game is, to the point where he doesn't need to win competitions himself in order to get his targets out. He can just depend on everybody else to get the blood on their hands, and then he's home scot-free. Now, Matt is the HOH this week. He is the Final 5 HOH, and he does want Felicia out. But Jag and Bowie Jane do want to take Cirie out, and he is oblivious to that plan. And if he knew any better, he would put Bowie Jane up. But he didn't, because he's blindly loyal to that Final 3 alliance. They've also called themselves the Mafia, which is like the most bland and boring like alliance name you could have thought of, especially at the Final 5. The Mafia is such a boring and bland name, and I think this season has just had an onslaught of horrible alliance names. Like, for real, Legend 25, 7 Deadly Sins. Like, why did you call yourselves the 7 Deadly Sins? Like, who's gluttony, right? Who's wrath? Who's all those things, right? But that's just me getting off topic. In terms of Matt, he's playing an amazing social game. I think he's been dominating. I do think that he does have a blind spot. I do think that he might get sniped out in 4th or 3rd place if he isn't careful, or if the wrong person wins a competition. But I really do think that Matt is guaranteed Final 3. I don't see any scenario Matt goes home unless it's the Final 4 and Felicia wins a veto and Felicia votes Matt out when he's sitting next to Bowie Jane. But even then, Felicia would be tempted to take out whoever Matt is sitting next to. If Bowie Jane wins Final 4 HOH and Matt and Jag are sitting on the block, Jag goes home. If Jag wins Final 4 HOH and Matt and Bowie Jane are sitting on the block, Bowie Jane goes home. Because Felicia doesn't like Bowie Jane. Or Cirie. Right? So I think Matt is essentially guaranteed Final 3. And that's a very impressive spot for him to be in. Now, if he gets the Final 2, I think he sweeps. I think he sweeps wholeheartedly. I think he probably wins against nearly everybody except Cirie. But he doesn't realize that, and he wants to take Cirie at least a little further in the game, which does make me question how blindly loyal he is to Cirie. But with Cirie most likely, or probably, going home this week despite Matt's wishes, that's probably what's best for his game. But overall, Matt's in an amazing position. He's practically guaranteed to make it to the Final 3, and he has such a large amount of win equity that he probably is the front runner. He is the front runner to win this game. And because of that, I have to put him here and keep him here at number 1. Overall, this season has come to a screeching halt. Like, it has gotten so boring, it's gotten so bland, and I think this double eviction killed any sort of momentum that this endgame had. We had the opportunity for an entertaining endgame, but Bowie Jane just blew that up by essentially giving Matt and Jag the win, and it's so disappointing to see, because we're going to get the same winner we've been getting all these past years of these alpha males who just comp out and win everything, and then they just make it to the end, and then they win by default. Like, It's boring. It's boring. It's bland, and we don't want to watch it, but we have to. We just have to watch Matt and Jag just dominate this end game and essentially guarantee themselves the end. There's literally there's a very little chance that anything changes unless Suri or Felicia comp out and change the dynamics of this house. There's no way. There's just no way anything is gonna change, and that sucks. It sucks that we have to depend on competitions, at least in this end game portion. Like, we're no longer even depending on strategy. It's just wholeheartedly like, oh, you won a competition, you boom, you won. Like, that's where we're at right now, and that is so disappointing to watch. Like, I'm here to watch the strategy. I'm here to watch people socialize and maneuver through the dynamics of the house. But now that this house is so set in stone, it's boring to watch because there's little to no chance of anything changing, and that's so disappointing because this season started out on such a high note. Flip after blindside and backdoors, like, it was crazy. But now we're just here. Like, this season is ending on a whimper. This season is ending at like a low point. It's almost like Big Brother 20, where it had such a good beginning, but then after one or two key events, it just became like a slow like fizzle out to a like disappointing or like predictable end. And that just really sucks. I'm so disappointed that the season is possibly going to end with a Matt or Jag win just because they won competitions. Like, that's going to be just so disappointing to watch. But those are just my thoughts. What do y'all think? Put your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends if you have any of those. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.